Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Welcome to another episode of the show. So, today's episode is going to be talking about two episodes, being Where No Man Has Gone Before, and the next episode, The Naked Time. Before I get into the episodes, I'm going to give a bit of detail about Where No Man Has Gone Before. This was actually one of the second pilots that was ever produced. But unfortunately, this one got rejected. The first one got rejected, which was The Cage. So, this one ended up happening, but it was like the second episode, but it ended up becoming the third episode. What happened was supposedly Lucille Ball, her company, Desilu, basically she was able to get management to say, hey, give this show a chance and all that. And she also, like Gene Roddenberry, thought, hey, should be something special. So there's that bit of history and all that. So yeah, let's get right into talking about it. Some of the cast members that are in the episode are Gary Lockwood as Lieutenant Commander Gary Mitchell, and Sally Kellerman as Dr. Elizabeth Dare. And basically the whole episode of it was, after going through a force field barrier at the end of the galaxy, basically two crew members develop ESP abilities. One of them slightly starts to go a little bit, slightly become mad.
You better check the starboard impulse packs. Those points have about decayed to lead.
Oh, yeah, sure, Mitch.
I'm not joking, Lee.
And reaching for power.
What would you do in my place?
Probably just what Mr. Spock is thinking now. Kill me. Well, you can.
So, one thing that is apparent, like, say, even though like, this is the third episode, but production-wise, it's the second film episode, you can actually tell that this is, like, an early development because the makeup for their Nimoy as Spock is a little bit cruder, and that it doesn't, like, look like it has been perfected yet. I mean, it looks good, but like it feels like they're still trying to figure out, okay, what should this character look like in a way? I mean, they still got the basis, which is the eyebrows and all that. And I think some of the like the high points of the episode is Kirk's friendship with Gary Mitchell, and the fact that, you know, he's slowly changing who he is from the abilities that he has gained. And one little detail I think is kind of like neat is the fact that, say, the whitish contacts they have in the episode. Apparently say that was an old technique, but Kellerman, she basically said, okay, I can wear this stuff for a little bit longer than Lockwood can. And yeah, he really particularly, he was not a fan of it. I kind of think, like, say, in a way, even though the previous two episodes were good, I feel like, say, in a way, this should have been, like, say, one of the first, like, say, introductions to the show. although they in a way, I feel like say, the episode should have been like waited a little bit longer, because like for the makeup wise, just to like say okay, continuity in a way, instead of like say okay, here's the man trap, and they'll say oh hey wow, Spock looks totally different and all that. And yeah, I kind of think this one is actually very well entertaining. I think the acting is very well. Um, I know, honestly, I actually really like it. I think it's pretty fun. I like, say, the actors. I think Lockwood does a great job as a man who suddenly, in the past, just slowly loses what he was and starts to gain a bit of a, drive for power, and, is wanting to keep it in a way. So, I mean, overall, I think it's entertaining. I also kind of think, like, say, this was a great show of acting prowess for Kellerman as well. Oh, and one little bit of detail is, like, say that the episode gets its name from, like, one of the final phrases in the opening of the show. So, moving on, we're going to move on to the next episode. So, in the episode The Naked Time, it basically, basically in the episode, like, a infection goes around which lowers, like, say, like, a person's inhibition, like, say, maybe they are happy.
We don't belong here. It's not ours.
Or sad in a way. It starts to spread for the entire crew. Like, say, a certain time, some, after, like, say, some characters, like, get infected, they start to, like, say, in, Sulu's case, he, like, starts to become more, probably, athletic, I suppose, but he becomes a swashbuckler.
Monsieur Liu, at last. Sulu, put that thing away. For honor, queen, and France.
And, he brandishes a fencing blade. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical term. And yeah, he goes around, just attacking people. Supposedly that, after he, like, during, like, say, filming, he would just, like, act like he's fighting it, and supposedly the crew just says, hey, don't ever, like, write anything like this for this character, because, yeah, no, we won't be putting up with that. And, yeah, I kind of think that's pretty kind of cool in all honesty. Supposedly this is also George Takei's favorite episode. And one thing I will have to say is I love the moment where Spock has suddenly get infected, and he's suddenly like, I can control my emotions, but then suddenly
I'm in control of my emotions. Control.
He can't, and then he breaks down and just realizes, like, say, like, his family and all that, which I think is really good. The acting in that sequence is great, and I kind of like the fact that, supposedly it was all done in one take, which is pretty cool and shows the acting powers that Miss Leonard Nimoy had. And yeah, I think that's pretty great. The beginning episode starts almost like, say, almost like, say, a version of the thing from another world, and that, or the thing from John Carpenter, and the fact that the crew lands on a planet and everyone on this station is dead. So, yeah, it sort of has that vibe. And I think that's kind of cool and honestly. I like the fact that, like, say some characters have changed, like, say some of their personalities change a bit. Like say Officer Riley, he becomes, like, say, this quiet kind of guy, and suddenly say, I'm suddenly decide to say, I'm Captain Everyone. There shall be ice cream in the dining hall. And then suddenly, when they finally catch him, they just, like, no dancing in the halls night. And yeah, I gotta supposedly, like, say some of the dangers that is going on, since a lot of, like, the crew all have sort of left their posts. They are basically, the ship is starting to fall down, and that's why they're having to try to get Officer Riley out of the bottom of the control room, I believe. And yeah, because he's able to control everything, intercoms, control, like, say, like, wherever they can turn him off and all that stuff. And I think that's kind of cool, and the fact that, it's just, like, say, part of, like, say, a disease outbreak, but at the same time trying to stop the ship from crashing. And I think that's pretty cool. So, I mean, overall, I think this is very entertaining. When I first discussed this episode, and, like, again, I did this series called Star Trek with a Noob. I recently had said that I thought this episode had a bit of humor to it, which it does, but at the same time, it made me think, yeah, this episode has a bit of more character personality, and the fact they say some characters, like, say, Spock, in this case, shows his more human side, whereas in previous episodes, he was more of, like, say, the logical, like, say, quiet, basically just trying to say reserved individual, and then suddenly we see this shift and change. So yeah, this episode had a bit of character development for some characters, and I think that's really great in science fiction, I'll say. So, I mean, overall, I gotta say, this was a great episode, 2 episodes of Star Trek. But what do you guys think? And I'll say, put those thoughts and those comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.